Yeah.
That's fantasy land, Jim.
That is fantasy land. Okay. All right. So, Keith, it sounded like you had a little follow-up there.
No, that was it. That was good.
Oh, come on.
No, that was good.
You always
shot it off.
disappoint me.
It's full
You
hour. That
disappoint
was
me.
the only
All right.
question he had. He just
All
blew
right.
it up.
You guys are doing such a fantastic job. I would only get in the way.
For the listeners out there, you got any questions, give us a call. 585-633-7487. That's 585-633-7487. Or hit us up on Twitter at The Fantasy Greek or at LN, that's Larry Nancy Sports Radio. LN Sports Radio.
Breaking out
Corbin.
the military alphabet.
What's that?
Breaking out the military alphabet there. You're gonna screw everybody up.
That's what my mother would do. She would say, that's Larry Nancy.
You know how many people are going to type in Larry Nancy Sports Radio and nothing's going to come up?
If they do that.
There's a certain percentage of our listeners that are going, who the hell would name their site Larry Nancy?
Nancy, that's right.
Well, they just got to go to our website. They'll understand.
Yeah. So, Corbin, I got to ask you, a year ago, when you and I sat down and talked, and I did my follow-up interview from a couple years ago, one of the players we talked about was E.J. Manuel.
Mm-hmm.
And we had discussed, how he needed to take the next step, or I probably said he needed to take the next step and be sort of a passing quarterback. And my question is, do you think he's been thrown in this, now that you can look back, sort of in hindsight a little bit, do you think he's been thrown into this too fast or too soon? Or because I think that was, to me, the missing piece from this team that could have taken you from 9-7 to 11-5.
Yeah, I mean, no, yes and no. I mean, he's already been thrown in the fire, so that's way past due. But he had like 2 good games this year. The first 2 games he played against Chicago, I think he was 16 for 20. Game against Miami, I think he played pretty well. And then he had 2 down games against San Diego and Houston, and and coach just went in a different direction. And hopefully this year EJ was able to look and learn from Kyle and take some things that he did well and, kind of add that to his game. So, EJ's a smart dude. He's a real athletic guy, has a strong arm. And, I expect him to come out and be able to compete and, help us out a lot next season.
How much of a shot in the arm for the offense was Sammy Watkins in the locker room?
I mean, man, Sammy Watkins is unbelievable. He's an unbelievable receiver, great hands, great speed, great quickness. He's a guy that's, got it all. He drew, the best DB from every team from the first game of the season. So that just shows you the respect that defenses have for him. So Sammy Watkins, he's a great player.
How about when you hear stories about how Coach Marone supposedly walked out of the room when they traded up to draft Sammy Watkins? Like when you hear those stories, like what's your reaction as a player?
I mean, I a lot of the stuff that you see when you read about it, I mean, it's it could be false. Guys trying to stir up stuff in the media. So I mean, I don't. Who knows? Like I can't speak on that because like it may be true, it may be false. So who knows?
Fair enough.
You're not the guy to ask.
No, not me. I wasn't there.
One of my favorite players on the Buffalo Bills for many years now has been Fred Jackson. Mm-hmm. Whenever I talk about Fred, I always compare gossip columnists when they write their columns and they do like the little birthday section and that Fred Jackson, if he was put in somebody's gossip column, they would describe him as ageless.
Mm-hmm.
He's still got a year left on his contract. And I don't know, as a younger player in the league compared to Fred Jackson, how do you view a guy like him? Does he just every day surprise you?
Man, I'll tell you what, Fred is the heart and soul of this team. I respect a lot of guys on this team, but man, Fred is the man. I'll tell you that right now. He plays hard. When he's talks to us before the game, he talks about playing hard, and leaving it all out there. Fred does it, man. He does that and more. He plays special teams. He runs the ball hard. He has great hands, crazy moves, and you would never know that, he was 34, 35, however old he is. You would never know he was that old because, he's still doing his thing like he's a young kid. So, Fred is a very, very, very valuable to our team.
So
Corbin,
you're a
this is
guy.
Steve. Sorry, just going real quick with the Fred Jackson. I've always been curious, what was how good of a relationship did he have with CJ Spiller? Because I know CJ being a young guy, I didn't know if he wanted to take a little more of the rushing attempts, and I know splitting between him and Fred Jackson. I didn't know if there was any kind of friction, or did they get along real well?
No, there's no friction. They're like best friends out there. Like they love each other. I always see them hanging out. They're always talking.
Cool.
Plus CJ
Awesome.
and Fred, they're two of the nicest guys you ever meet. So, they won't ever let anything like that come in between them. So, and they work well together.
Yeah, they do. Very well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how the Bills handle C.J. Spiller's free agency, and in what direction they go in. But it seems to me that under Rex Ryan, one way or another, the Bills will be running the ball plenty next season, and we'll see a lot of these guys. Corbin, I'm sort of heading towards the finish line with what I've got for you.
Okay.
And I suppose here, let's guys, do you guys have anything else related to the Bills?
I mean, there's really just so much we don't know right now. Just like Corbin was saying earlier, like you don't even know who the position coaches are, or the coordinators officially, or anything like that. So,
I got something for you. And by the way, I want to give a shout out real quick, guys, to @UnixGoon on Twitter, who just tweeted, great interview with Corbin Bryant with the Fantasy Greek on Late Night Sports Radio. Thank you so much, Brian. We appreciate that very much. Corbin, if there's one thing that you guys could have done better this year, what do you think it was?
Oh, man, just, making the big plays when they counted. Like I said before, there were plays when we played Kansas City, a couple plays when we played Houston, that if we could just have those one or two plays back, we could potentially still be playing right now. And, I feel like we had even though, offense, they struggled a little bit this year, but, when push came to shove, they made plays. They made plays against Detroit. That was a huge game. Made big plays against Minnesota, to win the game. It wasn't just defense. The offense gave us a chance and picked us up when, we weren't having our best games too. So, it was just, those couple plays, and football's a game of inches. So, you can't have any excuses, but, just, having a better attention to detail and, making those one or two plays we need to make to win. That's all. Just the little details, and that's all we need to do to take the next step.
It's amazing that you say that because and it's really one of the things that I appreciate about professional football specifically is how it is so transformative from college, where you can have a good team because they've just got really good athletes on the field, to a pro team where they could have good athletes on the field, but if they're not executing right or playing right together, the product on the field is not going to come out right. And once you get that, you got to do it every single day. Every single day. I have some fun questions before we let you go. You ready for them?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, man. And when I say fun, and for the listeners out there, it's as simple as, for example, Corbin, this question: what's your favorite color?
Orange.
Orange. All right. Well, there we go. See, orange. I would have never thought that. I would have thought it would have been blue or purple.
You saved the hard-hitting questions for the last 15 minutes.
Wait, what, Keith? What did you say?
You saved the hard-hitting questions for the last 15 minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
I did. But these are the kinds of things people want to know. And the next one I really want to know. Did you get to see the Cowboys-Packers game?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Des Bryant, catch or not a catch?
Well, according to the rules, it is not a catch. But when I first saw it, I saw him take 3 steps and stretch for the end zone. I thought it was more of a fumble and recovery in the end zone for a touchdown. But according to the rules, when you fall into the ground, you got to have the ball. It can't bounce out. So, not a catch.
We don't have time for Corbin to explain the rule to Jim because it took all of 20 minutes on Monday Night Show.
Yeah.
Corbin, we were arguing. I was arguing. I was so hard set on it being Des Bryant. It was a touch. Because I agree with you. It looked like a touchdown to me. And then Hey, you know what? If the football hit the ground, it hit the ground. It's not a catch. Okay, fine, guys. Thanks.
Well, like you said last night, it's the NFL. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a moose. Nothing makes sense.
You just never know what those guys are going to come out of that replay booth saying. So
yeah. All right. Here's one that I think is interesting. What is Rex Ryan's middle name?
I have no idea. What is it?
Guys, do you guys know?
No.
And don't look it up. Seriously, do you know?
If it's Buddy, I'm going to kick myself for not knowing it.
No, it's not. And I was surprised. It's Ashley.
Ashley?
Ashley. That's what I found online. I was wrong online.
Well, no wonder he's so mean, because with a middle name like that, you have to be mean. Otherwise, you get your butt kicked all through grade school.
What about that Johnny Cash song?
A boy named Sue?
A boy named Sue, or what is it, a guy named Sue?
Boy named Sue.
Something.
I don't know, Jim.
Anyway. All right, Corbin. Super Bowl prediction. Who's in it and who wins it?
Well, according to my knowledge of the game and from what I've seen on tape this year, I believe it's going to be Seattle and New England.
Ooh. And you got any bold Super Bowl prediction?
But just have to say that.
Oh, all right.
Smart move.
We'll let you out of it this time.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Want to talk a little bit of college. And this year we had our first national championship playoff, 4 teams. Did you like the format?
Yeah, I really liked it. We had our first, outright, quote unquote, national champion. I like the way the teams battled it out, and congrats to Ohio State. They were, they finished it out strong, and and they really did show in that game that they had the better team. They were physical, and the quarterback played well, the running back played well, defense, everything. So kudos to them.
So obviously you thought it worked this year, the format.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Is there, because do you spend time on Saturdays watching a little college football just to relax and chill out?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Is there a rookie or somebody that you've kind of noticed that, oh man, this guy, I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the pros, or
No, not really. I'm sorry. I wish I had knew somebody, but no.
All right, no, that's fair. You're in such a different place than the rest of us are, so I think that's fair. Let's talk about Northwestern football for the people out there. Corbin is a Northwestern alum, mighty Evanston, Illinois.
Yes.
You graduated back in, what was it, 11?
Yeah, 2011.
2011. What's going on with the football team over there, man?
Well, it's just they had a down year. Actually 2 years in a row of being down. But I know Coach Fitz has a vision to put the team back together and make sure they're competing for championships every year. I played for the guy for 5 years, so I know, he's doing everything in his power up there to, to right the ship and, get the program going back in the right direction. So I'm not worried about it, so.
Corbin, this is Steve. In being a Northwestern alum, how big, because they were having a little bit of an off season, but how big was that win in November at Notre Dame, that big overtime victory? That game was phenomenal, first off. But how big was that win for your alum?
Yeah, I thought it salvaged the season, man. I was like, man, some guys didn't think they were gonna, have a chance, but just being a Northwestern Wildcat and going through with the same thing that those guys are going through, in previous years, I always have faith in the Cats. The Cats, will always give themselves a chance on Saturday. So and they pulled it through.
Corbin, I know what a big deal it is to you to be an alum of Northwestern, and I think it's awesome. I remember when I had my chance to go out there and visit the school. What just a tremendous campus, tremendous facility. Coach Fitzgerald was just a great guy. How was that when you were recruited for Northwestern? I mean, to have him in your home.
Yeah, Coach Fitz knows this to this day. I remember him and Randy Walker. They actually came to my house. Yeah. And that was around the time when I had hardly ever been recruited. I only played 1 year of high school football, and Pat Fitzgerald walked into my house, and I'm like, man, I remember watching this dude when I was a kid. Like, I was just